The night market was alive with noise. Alien traders shouted prices, metal cages rattled, and the smell of smoke mixed with strange spices filled the air. On the center stage, under a weak yellow light, stood a young alien girl. She was small, thin, and tired. One of her legs was gone, and in its place was only a broken stump wrapped in dirty cloth. The crowd looked at her with cold eyes. Some laughed, others whispered. She felt their stares burn into her skin. She tried to stand tall, but her body shook. Still, she raised her voice. "I am not asking for money," she said. Her voice cracked, but she forced herself to speak louder. "I only ask for a prosthetic leg. I will serve whoever gives me one. I will cook, clean, work. Anything. Please." Her words fell into silence for a moment. Then laughter broke out. A group of traders chuckled, shaking their heads. Who would want her? One said, "She is broken already." Another sneered. "A half-girl, half-beggar," a woman muttered. The girl's chest tightened. She had prepared herself for rejection, but still, it hurt. Every word cut her like a knife. She needed the leg to survive. Without it, she could not run, she could not work, she could not even walk properly. She had dreamed for years of standing tall again, walking like others, feeling whole. Tonight was her last chance, but the crowd was cruel. A fat merchant waved. His hand, "Take her away. She is useless." Others turned back to the cages, where stronger slaves and workers were waiting to be sold. No one wanted her. Her throat burned. She looked down at her thin hands, trembling. "Why did I even try?" she thought. "No one will ever want me, not even for free." Tears threatened her eyes, but she blinked them away. She had promised herself she would not cry, not here, not in front of them. The auction master sighed in annoyance. He shoved her shoulder roughly. "Say your offer again," he ordered. "Maybe someone will pity you." The girl took a shaky breath. She raised her chin, forcing herself to look at the crowd again. "I will serve with loyalty," she said. "I will never complain. I only need one thing, a prosthetic leg." Her voice echoed in the night air, fragile and desperate. And once again, silence. The crowd did not answer. She closed her eyes. This was the end. She would go back to the shadows, to hunger, to crawling on the ground. She would never escape this life. But then a low voice spoke from the back. Calm, cold. "I'll take her." The words were simple, but they cut through the noise of the market like a blade. The crowd turned, confused. Who had spoken? From the shadows, a man stepped forward. He was tall, wrapped in a dark coat that hid most of his body. His face was half covered by a hood, but his eyes glowed faintly under the light. They were not the eyes of a trader. They were sharper, harder, filled with something unreadable. The auction master frowned. "Her? Are you serious?" "Yes," the man said. His voice was steady, without emotion. "I'll take her." The girl's breath caught in her chest. For a moment, she thought she had imagined it. Someone wanted her. The crowd murmured. In shock, he must be mad. Why waste time on her? Maybe he's desperate. The auction master hesitated, but business was business. "Very well," he muttered. He gestured for the girl to step down. Her legs, or rather, her single leg shook. She could not believe what was happening. She gripped the wooden rail of the stage and slowly climbed down. The man waited at the bottom, his expression unreadable. When she stood in front of him, she felt small. His presence was heavy, like a storm waiting to break. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. "Follow me," he said simply, turning away. She stared at his back. He had no chain, no whip, no rope. He did not grab her like the others would. He just walked, expecting her to follow. And she? Did the crowd's whispers faded behind her as she limped after him, her heart racing? She didn't know if she had been saved, or if she had just stepped into a darker fate. That night, as they left the market, the girl dared to ask, her voice soft. Why? Why did you take me? The man did not slow his steps. He looked straight ahead, his hood shadowing his face. You'll find out soon enough, he said. His tone was calm, but his words chilled her. And for the first time that night, she realized something. This man had not saved her out of kindness. He wanted her for a reason she could not yet understand. The broken alien girl had been unwanted by everyone, except him. And that was the most frightening part of all. The night was cold as the girl followed the stranger through the narrow streets. The market noise faded behind them, replaced by the quiet echo of their footsteps. The broken girl's heart beat fast. She limped after him, her single leg dragging on the rough stone ground. He did not look back. He walked with long, strong steps, his coat flowing like a shadow behind him. She wanted to ask his name, but something in his silence stopped her. It was heavy, like a locked door. The street lamps flickered, throwing strange shapes on the walls. She noticed how people moved aside when he passed. No one dared to cross him. That scared her more than the market crowd had. Finally, they reached a small, hidden building at the edge of the city. The man pushed open the rusted door and stepped inside. He did not invite her. He simply left the door open. She hesitated, her hand gripping the frame. Should I go inside? What if this is a trap? But outside was worse. Out there, she had nothing. So she stepped in. The place was simple: one room, a table, a chair, and a bed that looked barely used. Strange tools lay on the table, shining under a dim light. Some looked like weapons, others she couldn't even name. The man finally spoke. Sit. She sat on the edge of the bed, her eyes wide. He removed his hood. His face was sharp, pale, and tired, as if carved from stone. A thin scar crossed his cheek. His eyes glowed faintly in the shadows. Not human, not fully alien either. What is your name? He asked. She swallowed hard. Lyra. He nodded once. Lyra, he repeated. It slowly, as if testing the sound. Then silence again. Her hands twisted in her lap. She wanted to ask 100 questions, but fear locked her tongue. Why had he taken her? What did he want? Why had he spoken into that strange device at the market? At last, her courage cracked through. Why me? She whispered. His eyes narrowed. Because you were waiting. Her brow furrowed. Waiting. For what? For me. Her blood ran cold. She shook her head. No, you're wrong. I only wanted a prosthetic leg. That's all. His eyes said something else. They were filled with certainty, as if he had known her long before tonight. He turned away, pulling a small black box from the table. He opened it. Inside was food bread and dried fruit. He set it in front of her. Eat, he said. She stared at it. Her stomach growled with hunger, but her mind whispered warnings. Still, she reached out, took a piece, and chewed slowly. It was real food, not spoiled scraps like she usually found. For the first time in months, warmth spread in her chest, but the comfort was dangerous. She could not trust him. Not yet. He sat down across from her, arms crossed. You are not broken, he said quietly. Her hand froze. Yes, I am, she whispered. Look at me. I have looked, he replied, and I see the truth. Others cannot, but I can. His words made her chest tighten. Part of her wanted to believe him. Another part screamed to run. That night, when she lay on the bed, she pretended to sleep. She heard him moving at the table, whispering into his communicator. I found her, he said. His voice was low, sharp. She is the one. Her heart pounded in her ears. The one for what? She squeezed her eyes shut, holding back her breath. If he knew she was listening, what would he do? Minutes passed. Then silence, at last. She drifted into uneasy dreams. She dreamed of chains, of fire, of faces she did not know. She woke with sweat on her skin and the taste of fear in her mouth. Morning light slipped through the cracks in the wall. She sat up, blinking. The man was already awake, standing by the door, watching the street through a crack. Without turning, he spoke. "We leave today." Her stomach twisted. "Where?" "Somewhere safe," he answered. Then he looked at her, his eyes burning like fire under ice. "But you must trust me." Trust. The word tasted bitter. She did not know if she could trust him, but she had no choice. She had nowhere else to go. He handed her a small cane. "Until you get your leg, use this." Her fingers closed around the wood. It was strong, carved with strange marks. Kindness, she thought. Purpose. He gave her the cane not to help, but to prepare. As they stepped outside, the city looked different. Every shadow felt like a spy, every corner a trap. She realized something important. She had not been rescued. She had been chosen, and whatever he wanted from her was only beginning. The shipyard smelled of rust and fuel. Machines hissed in the distance. Shadows moved under tall metal towers. And the broken girl Lyria clutched the strange cane in her hand as she followed the man. He had still not told her his name. She hated that. To her, he was only the man. Silent, sharp, unreadable. But today was different. Today, he finally spoke more than a few words. "You are not safe in this city," he said as they moved quickly between cargo crates. His coat brushed the ground like a living shadow. Too many eyes. Too many hunters. Lyra frowned. Hunters. Why would anyone hunt me? I'm nothing. He stopped, turning his head slightly. His eyes met hers, cold and steady. You are not nothing. You are the reason they are here. Her chest tightened. The words made no sense. What are you talking about? He began walking again, faster this time. There is something inside you. Something they want. She stumbled, nearly falling. Inside me? I don't understand. You will? They reached a large warehouse at the edge of the yard. Inside, the air was thick with dust. Old ships rested like sleeping beasts, covered in sheets of metal and cloth. The man pulled one sheet away, revealing a small, black ship. Its body was sleek, scarred, but still alive with faint blue lights. "This is ours," he said. Lyra's mouth fell open. She had never been on a ship before. Her whole life had been streets, dirt, and survival. To see this was like looking at a dream she had no right to touch. "Why me?" She asked again, her voice trembling. He placed his hand on the ship's surface. "Because your blood carries a code. A code that can open what no other can. They know this. That is why they want you." Her stomach twisted. "A code. I'm just a crippled girl." Before she could finish, the sound of boots echoed outside. Loud, heavy, too many. The man's head snapped up. "They've found us." Her blood froze. He grabbed her wrist and pulled her toward the ship. Inside, now, Lyra's heart pounded as she climbed up the ramp, stumbling on her single leg. She fell once, but his hand caught her, pulling her up with strength that felt almost inhuman. Then the door behind them burst open. Armed soldiers stormed in, their armor glowing with red lights. Their voices were sharp, metallic. Target located. One shouted, "Take the girl alive." Lyra's chest burned. "They want me, not him," Me, the man pushed her behind him. Stay down. Then he moved. Lyra had never seen anyone fight like that. He was not a man. He was a storm. His coat flowed as he leaped forward, his hands striking faster than her eyes could follow. Weapons cracked, bodies slammed into walls, metal bent under his force. The soldiers tried to shoot, but he was faster. He dodged bullets like shadows slipping through light. His fists broke armor. His kicks shattered helmets. Lyra pressed herself against the wall, eyes wide. Fear and awe tangled inside her. Who was he? How could one man fight like this? But then one soldier slipped past him. His gun? Aimed directly at Lyra, her breath caught. She froze. The soldier's finger tightened on the trigger. Down. The man shouted. Lyra dropped just as a blade of glowing light slashed the air. The man's weapon, when had he drawn it? Cut through the soldier's gun, sending sparks flying. In the same motion, he knocked the soldier unconscious. Silence. The warehouse shook with the echo of the fight, then fell still. Bodies of soldiers lay scattered on the floor. Lyra's heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst. The man turned to her, his face calm, though blood dripped from a cut on his cheek. "Now you know," he said simply. Her voice shook. "What are you?" He wiped the blood with the back of his hand. "Not what matters. What matters is what you are." She shook her head wildly. No, I'm nothing. I'm enough." He cut in sharply. "Do you think I risked everything for nothing? You are more important than you understand. Your leg, your scars, those are not weakness. They hid you. They kept you alive. But now they are coming for you." Lyra hugged herself, her body trembling. She wanted to deny it, to scream that it wasn't true, but the fear in her chest told her it was. The man placed his hand on the ship's panel, slid up, recognizing his touch. The ramp began to close. "Where are we going?" she whispered. He looked at her, his glowing eyes sharp as blades. "Somewhere they cannot find you. But you must be ready, Lyra. The life you knew is gone." She swallowed hard. "And if I'm not ready?" He leaned closer, his voice like a cold wind. "Then you will die, and so will I." The ship engines roared, shaking the ground. As they lifted into the sky, Lyra stared down at the city below. For the first time, she realized the truth. Her nightmare was not ending. It was just beginning. The ship broke through the clouds like a black arrow. Engines roared, shaking the air as the city below shrank into nothing but tiny lights. Lyra pressed herself against the seat, her fingers gripping the straps so hard her knuckles turned white. She had never flown before. The ground had always been her prison. Now it vanished beneath her. Her stomach twisted, not only from fear, but from something else wonder. For a moment, she forgot she was broken. She forgot the missing leg. She forgot the laughter of the crowd at the auction. She was rising higher than she ever thought possible. But then, alarms screamed. Red lights blinked across the control panels. The man's face hardened as he pulled the controls sharply. "They're following." Lyra's heart jumped. "Who?" He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Through the small window, Lyra saw them 3 black ships cutting through the clouds, chasing fast. Their wings glowed with red energy, their weapons already charging. Panic surged in her chest. "They won't stop, will they?" "No," he said calmly. "Not until you're dead or captured." The words chilled her blood. The black ship jerked. As he spun it sharply to the side, blazing shots of red energy streaked past, shaking the sky. One beam grazed their hull, sending sparks across the cabin. Lyra gasped. "We'll crash." "Not if I fly," he muttered, pulling the ship into a dive. The world spun outside the window sky clouds. Then the endless darkness of space. They broke through the atmosphere with a deafening boom. Silence followed. The stars stretched out. Before them an ocean of black, glittering with cold fire. For a moment, Lyra forgot the chase. Her eyes widened. It's beautiful. The man didn't look. His hands moved fast across the controls. Don't be distracted. Space is not beautiful. It's deadly. Her awe crumbled into fear again. The enemy ships followed, their red engines cutting across the darkness. The man pressed a sequence on the console. A hidden panel opened, revealing strange glowing stones fitted into slots. He pulled one out and slid it into another chamber. The whole ship trembled. "What are you doing?" Lyra asked, gripping her cane. "Jump drive," he said, "but it needs time." Time they didn't have. Another blast hit the ship, rocking them hard. Alarms screamed again. The lights flickered. Lyra was thrown against a seat, her shoulder. Aching, the man cursed under his breath and switched on a weapon system. Cannons slid out from the ship's wings, glowing with blue fire. He pressed a control, and streaks of energy shot back at their hunters. Explosions lit the void as two of the ships dodged, but one was hit. It spun out, burning before vanishing into silence. Lyra's breath caught. He wasn't just strong. He was a killer. The other two ships closed in. "They're not giving up," she cried. "They never do," he answered, voice flat. "That is why you must survive." Her chest ached at the weight of his words. She didn't ask why anymore. She already knew her existence meant more than she understood. Suddenly, the ship dove again, pulling them close to a massive planet below. Its surface was covered in storms, lightning flashing across the clouds. "Are you mad?" Lyra shouted. "Madness keeps us alive," he said. They plunged into the storm. Winds battered the hull, lightning flashed around them, and thunder roared, like angry beasts. The enemy ships followed, their red lights glowing through the storm. Lyra clung to her seat, eyes wide, heart racing. Every second felt like the end, but the man didn't falter. His hands moved with precision, guiding the ship between bolts of lightning, twisting through chaos as if he had done this 1,000 times. Finally, he slammed his hand on the console. The ship shook violently, the jump drive screamed with power, and space folded around them. The stars stretched, twisted, and then silence. The storm was gone. The enemy ships were gone. Only calm space stretched before them, empty and vast. Lyra slumped back in her seat, her whole body trembling. We made it. For now," the man said. His voice was calm, but sweat glistened on his forehead. Lyra's eyes searched his face. He was not human, not fully. No normal man could fight like he did, or fly like this. She opened her mouth. "Who are you really?" He looked at her for a long moment. His eyes glowed faintly, strange and ancient. Then he turned away. "Rest," he said. "Questions have answers, but answers have prices. You're not ready yet." She wanted to argue, but exhaustion crushed her. She leaned back, closing her eyes. For the first time, she dreamed not of chains or laughter, but of stars calling her name. But in the silence of the cabin, the man whispered to himself, words she could not hear. She doesn't know yet. She must never know. Until the time comes, and outside, in the endless dark, another ship waited. Watching the chase was not over. It had only begun. The ship drifted through silent space. Stars burned outside like frozen fires. But inside, the air felt heavy with secrets. Lyra sat alone in the cabin, her cane across her lap. The storm planet still shook in her memory, the thunder, the lightning, the enemy ships chasing them. She tried to calm her breath, but her body trembled. The man was at the controls, silent as always. His hands moved with steady precision, adjusting buttons, checking signals. He hadn't spoken in hours. The silence was unbearable. Finally, Lyra whispered, "Where are we going?" He didn't look at her. "Farther than you've ever dreamed." That answer gave her no comfort. She looked down at her leg, the empty space where bone and flesh ended. A deep ache lived there, more than pain. It was a wound of shame. She wanted to be whole, to walk without limping, to stand strong. Her eyes wandered across the cabin. That's when she noticed it, a small metal crate pushed halfway under a seat. Its surface glowed faintly with alien symbols. Her heart beat faster. Something about it called to her. She slid off the seat, balancing on her cane, and dragged the crate out. The symbols lit brighter under her touch. "What is this?" she asked, her voice unsteady. The man's head turned sharply. His eyes narrowed. "Leave it." But she had already pressed the latch. The box hissed open. Inside lay a prosthetic leg, but not like any she had ever seen. It wasn't dead metal. It pulsed faintly with light, like veins under skin. Its surface shifted, almost alive, glowing with blue patterns that danced like fireflies. Lyra's breath caught. Her hand hovered above it. She felt heat radiating from it, and something that pulled at her, like it was waiting for her touch. "Don't," the man said sharply, standing. His voice carried real fear for the first time. "It is not ready." But Lyra couldn't stop herself. She touched it. The leg came alive. Blue light surged up her arm, racing through her veins. She gasped as 1,000 whispers filled her mind, voices speaking in a language she didn't know yet somehow understood. Images flash, worlds burning, towers falling, armies kneeling. And always, always, a symbol glowing like fire. She pulled her hand back, trembling, but it was too late. The prosthetic lifted out of the box by itself, floating in the air like it had chosen her. Her eyes widened in fear and awe. "It's alive." The man grabbed her shoulders, steadying her before she collapsed. His face was tight, his eyes burning. "It has bonded with you," he said grimly. "I told you it was not ready." Her voice shook. "What is it?" He looked at the glowing leg, then at her. Not a prosthetic, a weapon. The word froze her blood. Before she could answer, the leg moved on its own, attaching to her stump. With a flash of light, pain ripped through her, sharp and deep, making her scream. Then the pain changed. The prosthetic fused with her body, glowing brighter. She felt nerves connecting, blood rushing, energy pulsing. She gasped as she stood without the cane balanced. Strong? She looked down. For the first time in years, she had 2 legs. But this one was not flesh. It was fire and metal, alive with strange power. She took a step. The floor shook slightly under her foot. Power surged up her body like lightning. Her eyes lifted to the man. It works. I can walk again." His face was unreadable. "Yes, but every gift carries a curse." "What?" "Curse," she demanded. He pointed at the control panel. Lights blinked wildly. Signals screamed. "They know," he said. "The moment it woke, they felt it. Your enemies. They are coming." Her heart sank. She touched the glowing leg. It felt strong, but dangerous, like holding a blade too sharp to control. "I didn't ask for this," she whispered. "You didn't?" "Have a choice," he said coldly. "You were born for it." Anger flared inside her. Born for what? To be hunted? To be broken? "No," he said. His voice was low, almost soft. Born to fight. The ship shook suddenly. Sirens wailed. Outside the window, shapes emerged to Nomi ships, larger than before, surrounding them. Lyra's breath caught. "They found us." The man reached for his weapon. His eyes glowed brighter than ever. Then it begins. Lyra looked down at her. New leg, glowing like living fire. Fear twisted inside her. But so did something else for the first time. She felt powerful. The broken girl was gone. But what she had become, she didn't yet understand. The ship trembled under enemy fire. Red beams cut through the darkness of space, shaking the hull. Lyra clutched the arm of her seat, her new leg glowing with strange energy. Each time the ship shook, the leg pulsed brighter. As if hungry for battle, the man moved quickly, his hands dancing over the controls. His voice was sharp, steady. They won't let us go this time. They know what you carry now. Her chest tightened. Why? Why me? Why does everyone want me? Before he could answer, a blast slammed into the ship. Sparks rained from the ceiling. The cabin filled with smoke. The man cursed under his breath. We're boarding. Hold on. The enemy. Ship latched onto them with magnetic clamps. A loud hiss echoed as metal doors on the side of the cabin bent under force, and then it broke open. A tall figure stepped inside, armor black as night, a red visor covering his face. He carried no weapon, yet his presence was heavier than the storm planet's lightning. Behind him, soldiers waited. But none dared move until he did. Lyra's heart froze. The man at the controls stood slowly, his hand on his weapon. His eyes narrowed. Bounty hunter. The figure's voice was deep, almost mechanical. Step aside. I only want the girl. Lyra's breath caught. Me. The bounty hunter's visor tilted toward her. Daughter of the lost race. At last, you are found. Her mind spun. Lost race. I don't. What are you talking about? I'm nobody. The bounty hunter laughed softly, a sound like grinding metal. Nobody. You are the last of your kind. Your people ruled the stars before they were burned to ash. And you, little one, are their heir. Lyra shook her head wildly. No, that's impossible. I was born in the slums. I was sold like trash. My people are gone. Exactly, the bounty hunter said. All gone, except you. Her legs trembled, though the new prosthetic held her steady. She looked at the man beside her, desperate. Tell me it's a lie. Kami, he's lying. My man's silence was worse than any answer. His jaw was tight, his glowing eyes heavy with truth. Lyra's voice cracked. You knew. All this time, didn't you? Yes, he said finally. His voice was low, filled with a weight he could no longer hide. Your people were destroyed by empires that feared their power. I was sent to hide you, to protect you. That is why you lived when the rest did not. Her breath came fast, sharp. Protect me. You lied to me. You dragged me from the market, from my life, and now I'm hunted because of you. Because? Of what you are, he corrected, his voice cutting like steel. The bounty hunter stepped closer, the soldiers following slowly behind. She is not ready, he said to the man. Give her to me, and her death will be quick. Lyra's eyes widened. Death. The bounty hunter's head tilted. Did you think they wanted to save you, child? No, they fear you. Even your protector knows the truth. If your blood awakens, no empire can control you. That is why they want you gone. The room spun around her. She clutched her head. The whispers from the prosthetic leg returned, voices calling her in that strange, ancient tongue. She didn't understand the words, but she felt the meaning. Awaken, rise, claim what is yours. She looked at the man again, anger burning in her chest. You used me. You never cared about me. I was just a weapon to you. His face hardened, but his voice softened just slightly. No, Lyra, I cared enough to keep you alive when the universe wanted you dead. But yes, you are a weapon. 2. That is truth. You cannot run from it. The bounty hunter raised a hand. His soldiers aimed their weapons. Enough talk. Choose, girl. Come with me, and I will end your pain. Stay with him, and you will drown in it. Her heart pounded. Fear, anger, confusion. The leg pulsed brighter, heat racing through her veins. She stood, wobbling at first, then firm. The floor shook under her foot. I'm tired of being weak, she whispered. Her voice shook, but power rose in it. I'm tired of being broken. If I really am the last, then I will not hide anymore. Blue light exploded from her leg, flooding the cabin with fire-like energy. The soldiers stumbled back, shielding their faces. The bounty hunter's visor glowed red, reflecting her light. The man's eyes widened. Lyra, stop, but it was too late. The power inside her had awakened. Blue light poured from Lyra's prosthetic leg, flooding the cabin with fire that was not fire. The energy pulsed through her body, filling her veins, her bones, her heart. She felt strong, terrifyingly strong, like the universe itself had taken. Root inside her. The bounty hunter did not move. His soldiers stepped back, afraid, but his red visor glowed brighter. So, the child of the lost race finally awakens. The man stood between them, his weapon drawn. His voice was sharp. She is not yours. The bounty hunter tilted his head. Not mine. Not yours. She belongs to no one yet. She will decide the fate of all. Lyra's chest rose and fell with fast breaths. She wanted to run, to scream, but the voices inside her would not let her. They whispered in a language older than stars. Rise, claim. Fight. Her hands shook. I don't know how to control this. The man's eyes glowed, steady and fierce. Then don't control it. Let it guide you. The bounty hunter raised his hand. Kill her before she learns. The soldiers charged. Lyra gasped, fear clawing at her throat. But the leg moved before she did. Blue energy surged outward in a wave, slamming into the soldiers. Their weapons shattered, their armor cracked, and they were thrown against the walls. Like broken dolls. Silence followed silence, broken only by the hum of her leg. Lyra stared at her hands. I did that. Yes, the man said quietly. And it is only the beginning. The bounty hunter's visor glowed red. He stepped forward, unshaken. Power without control is chaos. She will destroy herself and you. His hand reached out. A chain of dark energy shot from his palm, wrapping around Lyra's arm. She cried out, the energy burning like fire. The man leaped between them, slashing with his weapon. The chain snapped, sparks flying. Stay away from her, though bounty hunters. Voice was cold. You cannot protect her forever. The ship groaned under the weight of the battle. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Alarms screamed. But Lyra stood tall now. Her fear had not vanished, but something stronger burned inside it. Anger. At the market where they laughed at her. Anger at the life where she was nothing but trash. Anger at the lies, the secrets, the chains of pity and cruelty. No more. She stepped forward. The floor cracked under her glowing leg. I am not broken, she said, her voice low but fierce. Not anymore. The bounty hunter turned his visor toward her. Prove it, he charged. Time slowed. His movements were fast, too fast for normal eyes, but not for hers. She saw his strike before it landed. She raised her leg, and blue fire erupted, clashing with his red energy. The impact shook the ship, a thunder of light and sound. The man shielded his eyes, but Lyra did not. She pushed back with all her strength. For the first time, she was not running. She was fighting, The bounty hunter staggered, his visor cracking. Sparks flew from his armor. He growled in rage. Impossible. Lyra's voice rose, stronger than she ever knew it could be. You all called me weak. You all called me broken. But broken things cut deepest. She unleashed the full force of the prosthetic. Blue energy exploded outward, flooding the cabin, tearing through the enemy ships still latched onto them. Metal screamed as walls buckled. Fire tore through the corridor. The bounty hunter was thrown back, his body vanishing into the blaze. His soldiers scattered like dust in a storm. Silence followed heavy, endless silence. Smoke filled the air. The ship shuddered, wounded but alive. Lyra stood in the center, her chest heaving, her leg glowing like a star. The man stepped forward slowly, his weapon lowered. His eyes studied her, not with coldness, but with something else: respect. You did it, he said softly. Her throat tightened. I don't even know what I am anymore. He placed a hand on her shoulder. For the first time, his voice carried warmth. You are not what they say. You are not what you fear. You are what you choose to be. Her eyes burned with unshade. Tears. And what if I fail? Then I will fall with you, he said. His scarred face softened. Because I didn't save you, Lyra. You were meant to save me. The words sank deep into her chest. For once, she did not feel like prey. She did not feel like trash. She felt like something more. The ship drifted through space, broken but free. Lyra looked out the window at the endless stars. Once they had seemed far away, unreachable. Now they felt close, like they were waiting for her. She touched her glowing leg. It pulsed softly, alive with her heartbeat. The broken girl was gone. In her place stood the last daughter of the lost race, and her story had only just begun.